his hand again a second time to recover the remnant of his people. All right, where was the first time? The first time was in Egypt, man, when he took us out of Egypt from being under the captivity of these Egyptians. All right, in this day and age, he's going to take us out of the captivity of these Edomites, man. All right, this is the new Egypt, man. All right, let me continue with that. He's had to get a second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, right? But it said what? The remnant of his people. And who is his people, man? His people are the Israelites, all right? His people are Ishmaelites, his people are Moabites, his people are Israelites, okay? So that means that what? These Israelites are going to be in these different places amongst these different nations, all right? And they're going to look like these different nations, man. If you're amongst a nation, right, you don't have any people of your nation around you for the most part, right? But you have all these heathen women. What do you think? They were just celibate, man? Of course they had sex with those heathen women, and they had children that looked like the heathen, man. You go through the first generation, the son's going to look a little different. You go through the second generation, he's going to look like that other nation more and more. All right, so this is what it's talking about. They're still Israelites. They're not those different nations, but they're gonna come out looking like those different nations. All right, for the most part. All right, even though they go back to our people, they're gonna look like them. All right, let me read that again, man. And the Lord shall set his, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people. All right, his people, which are Israelites. All right. Which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth, man. All right, so there's going to be different Judites, right? The head tribe, there's going to be Judites that look like so-called Chinese people, man. All right, there's going to be Judites that look like these different nations. All right, amongst the East Indians, right? They have a certain people that they used to call the untouchables, right? They came there as slaves, right? But amongst them, they're outcasted from society. Those are our people. Those are Israelites, man. It said what? In Jeremiah 12, it said that the other birds round about hate her, man. All right. So the other birds, no matter where you're scattered, man, amongst these heathen, those heathen are gonna hate you. Why? Because you're an Israelite. Okay. That's all it is, man. Because they might look like those other nations, but they know down in their spirit, they know, listen, these people are different from us. Okay. These people are different. All right. And that's what we have to teach both sides of the coin, man. We can't just teach one way, man. All right? We can't be like these people. We can't be hypocrites, man. Because we know that what there's going to be tears and there's going to be wheat, right? Well, guess what? There's going to be tears that look like there's going to be wheat that look like the other nations. All right? Let me right? Because what it said, let me read that one more time. This is Isaiah 11:11. And it shall come to pass that in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea, man. All right, so his people are scattered amongst these different people, man. It's not hard to understand, and they're gonna come out looking like the other nations, man. That's why it says, unto us it becomes what? We have confusion of faces, which means we might have a Benjamite, right? Which nowadays, the so-called West Indians, right, a so-called Jamaican or whatever, a Benjamite, right? You might have him and he might come out looking like an Arab, man, but he's a Benjamite, all right? But that's how it works, okay? Because the Most High scattered us. That's a curse, by the way, right? To look like the heathen nation, that's a curse. That's a curse that he put upon our people. To look like a so-called white man, that's a curse. You lack pigmentation. right? You know, your skin burns in the sun. That's a curse, man, from the Heavenly Father, man. Not to mention you look like the devil, all right? But if the Most High calls you into this thing, no matter how you look, man, you have to be an Israelite, man. If you're called into this, you have to be an Israelite. Because an Edomite, his spirit will not get into this, man. His spirit cannot get into this. It's impossible. He can't understand. It said none of the wicked shall understand. They can't understand this truth. They can't grasp this. It's too deep spiritually for them. All right? Let me get there's the parable about the tear and the wheat I want to get. I don't know if that's 27. I don't think that's 27. I want to get that scripture if I can find it. Which I should know what that is, but might have to look it up now. My memory fails me sometimes. Salakia. I kind of want to touch that point. Let me get Isaiah the 2nd chapter, man, because that also goes into the fact that the other nations, right, which are Israel, the people who look like the other nations, which are Israelites, are going to cleave unto the house of Jacob. All right, this is Isaiah 2, verse 1. The word of Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it, and many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go to the mountain of Jacob. No, Salakia, it's not that one. It's Isaiah 14, I think. Yes, it's Isaiah 14 and 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them. Man. And when it says the strangers, it's not talking about heathens, man. All right? When it's talking about the strangers, it's talking about other Israelites that come from these different nations, man. All right? It's not talking about the heathen. All right? When you go into the fact of the strangers, the law of the strangers, right? Really, that's dealing with Israelites, man. All right? Because the Israelites were the ones that we accepted as brethren, man. Okay? Because according to the law, we're allowed to sell a heathen something that died of itself, man. All right? But according to the law, we're not allowed to sell that amongst our people. All right? So we dealt with our own people different than we dealt with the heathen. Okay? That's the thing, right? So when it's talking about strangers saying they're going to cleave unto them, right? In order to cleave unto them, you have to be of that nation. It's as simple as that. And like I said before, these other nations have our people amongst them. So our people are going to come out looking like these other nations, man. Okay? And that's a curse, man. That's not a blessing. All right? If you look like a heathen, you think that's a blessing, man? That's not a blessing. You don't fit in amongst the heathen. All right? The heathen, even though you might look like them as well, there's something about you that cleaves to us, that cleaves to the Israelites, man. All right? And listen, because we say that there's Israelites that look like these different nations, it doesn't mean that because he's an Israelite, he's going to be delivered, man. That doesn't mean that. But it's the fact we're bringing out the truth, man. All right? We have to bring out the full truth, the full spectrum. All right? Because we're going to have these Israelites that come up that might look like that, man. But we can't dismiss them like how these other camps do it, man. Because you look like this. That's wicked, man. The Most High will kill you for that, man. All right? If he's coming out with sincerity, man, right? And he might be one of the elect, and you dismiss him, Most High might murk you for that, man. All right? I mean, like, if he's diligent, man, like, if you see him, he's coming every week, he has his scriptures out. No. You got to let the spirit play out, man. All right? If he's an Edomite, it's going to be found out. If he's a heathen, it's going to be found out, man. The spirit will reveal it, man. All right? You know, because at the end of the day, man, the only ones who are going to make it on the chariots are Israelites, man. It goes into the only ones who are going to make it on the chariot are Israelites, man. It says what, 12,000 from each tribe. Okay. Okay, this is Jeremiah 17, verse 4. And thou, this is the Most High talking to who? Jeremiah, man. All right. It said, and thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage, right? Which means what? He would discontinue from the heritage of being an Israelite. All right. And thou, even thyself, will discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in a land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever, man. All right, and that forever doesn't mean actually forever, man. All right, that just means for a long period of time. Okay, so the Most High did what? He put us under our enemies. All right, and what amongst them we lost our heritage, man. Mainly talking about this captivity, man, under the so-called white man, these Edomites. All right, this was the captivity